Seema Gupta, who joins us from there. Seema, I mean, I pointed it out in the introduction there. I mean, they do seem very unlikely bedfellows, don't they, Starmer and Meloni?
Absolutely. I mean, both representing opposite sides of the political spectrum. But this is really part of the British Prime Minister, the new Labour Prime Minister, part of his move to renew ties with European leaders. He's already been to Berlin, Paris, Dublin, and now it's the turn of Rome. And so even though Ms. Meloni represents her far-right Brothers of Italy party, I think the two of them are facing the same issue of trying to deal with curbing migrant arrivals, migrants reaching their shores. Now, perhaps the UK are very much interested in the way in which Italy has approached this issue, the tough approach, but particularly looking at the plan that Italy has put in place to begin processing adult male migrants in Albania, in a third country, if you like, in a separate country, not in Italy. And interesting that this is something that Mr. Starmer is looking to explore, to understand how it works, particularly as he scrapped the plan by the previous Conservative government to do something similar, different, but similar in terms of processing migrants in the country of Rwanda. That plan he scrapped, but now he's looking to see how the Italian approach will work. He's also looking to see how Italy has successfully managed to cut the number of migrant arrivals. In the first half of this year, there's been a drop of some 60% in terms of migrant arrivals if you compare the same period in 2023. That's according to the Interior Ministry here in Italy. And that's because they've got this tough enforcement in place, but also because of international deals that Italy and the EU has struck up with countries like Libya and Tunisia in particular. Those are two countries from which migrants leave to come to Europe and come to Italy in particular. So you have them boosting up, giving these countries money to boost their border security forces and also to train their Coast Guard, but also there are gas deals, money being exchanged for that. Now, these deals have been criticized by rights groups, saying that this is essentially working with countries that commit crimes against migrants. They say working with a country like Tunisia, where we've seen a sharp deterioration in terms of democratic norms. We've seen arrests of lawyers and journalists in that country. So they question the need to do that. You've got backbenchers in the Labour Party, as well as NGOs, questioning the need to look to a far-right government in terms of dealing with this issue. A far-right government in which a coalition partner, Matteo Salvini, the Deputy Prime Minister, also himself being accused by prosecutors of allegedly kidnapping when he prevented a migrant rescue ship from landing in Italy in 2019 when he was then Interior Minister. So clearly a lot of differences between the two sides, but Mr. Starmer says he wants to learn more about the Italian approach.
And Seema, of course, more generally, Keir Starmer hoping that this is going to be the start of a prosperous relationship between the two?
Yes, but a very different one. I mean, one just has to look at his predecessor, Rishi Sunak. He and Ms. Meloni were clearly good partners, really, both right-wing. They had a political chemistry, if you like. It seemed like they got along really well. We saw them together at the G7 Leaders Summit here in Italy. Really a good chemistry there. So this is really a reset. But both sides know that they need support in the area of migration. But it's not just that they will be discussing. We understand that they will also be touching on the issue of Ukraine. Ms. Meloni, a strong supporter of Ukraine and their fight against Russia. And we understand that Keir Starmer will be discussing with her perhaps an extension of his discussions that he had with the US President Joe Biden about this idea of using Western-supplied weapons that might be used across on Russian territory. So perhaps those are some of the other issues that these two leaders will be discussing in this face-to-face meeting.
Seema, thanks very much. Seema Gupta, our correspondent, talking to us live there from Rome.